Hey everyone, it's Jade from Boho Bookworm. Welcome to my November wrap-up. I didn't read too much throughout November because it's been NaNoWriMo. I have been writing a novel of my own and it takes a lot of work. And because I've been writing this book, I found that the books I chose to read throughout November were very underwhelming. I just didn't seem to really connect with any of them, really. I think I was just too focused on my story to really pay that much attention to what was going on in these books. But I did read some, so let's get into it. The first book that I finished throughout November was Home Before Dark by Riley Sager, which I was honestly so highly anticipating. I could not wait to get my hands on a copy of this book. And, you know, it's not what I expected it to be at all. It's about this girl called Maggie who grew up in a haunted house. Her dad wrote a best-selling novel about it. She can't really remember her childhood there, but she has read about it in this book. So, you know, one day her dad dies and she inherits this haunted house. She doesn't really believe the stories that he used to write down. So when she inherits it, she goes back there to, you know, claim it, make it hers, and discover the truth. And once she arrives, she starts to actually second guess herself and be like, maybe what my dad wrote about was true. All these strange things start to happen. There was definitely a paranormal type feel to this book, but as you start to unpack it, you realise that it is more of like a psychological thriller. And there was also like this book in a book element to it, which I really enjoyed. I think the fun aspect of this book is that we're following Maggie who, you know, she doesn't know what's real and what's not, so we're also not really sure, and it's exciting to figure that out. And I know that I'm in the minority here, but I just feel like this book was so overhyped because of who the author is. Riley Sager has written some incredible books before. I really expected this to be more of a ghost story, and I feel that it's been marketed completely incorrectly because it's not. I don't feel like this book really fits into the horror genre at all. I was really disappointed, you know, like I didn't get that wow factor from this book. And after hearing so many other people talk about it, I really thought that I was going to get spooked and creeped out by it, and unfortunately that just didn't happen. And obviously my channel, I hardly ever give you spoilers if I can help it, but I just have to say, that ending, what the fuck? Then I picked up the second book in the Diana Madden series by Torre, which is a series about this girl who has this, she's a psychopath, she's got this massive lust for blood and she just wants to kill people, so she locks herself away, works online as a webcam girl to make money, and she actually makes a fortune. The first book in this series is called Girl in 6E and it's fantastic. Highly recommend it. And book 2 is called Do Not Disturb. I did read up about how this series was created, and the author actually wasn't planning on doing a sequel for the Girl in 6E at all initially, and which is very similar to my book. I'm busy writing a sequel now to It Was You. And so I like that aspect of it, especially as my main character also happens to be a psychopath. So with that being said, I really liked how this book guided me into a very deeply disturbed, dark mind. I mean, this book is gritty, it's gory, it's raw, it's daring, it's sexy, it's a bit of everything. It is erotic adult fiction, and combine that with thriller. There's just something about Torre's writing that is just so gripping, and I just get so invested in her stories. So yeah, I guess not all my reading was terrible this month because I did very much enjoy this book. However, sadly, then I read Rewind by Catherine Ryan Howard, which has also been getting hyped up on BookTube. And again, I was so underwhelmed by it. I mean, and the initial opening chapter was just jaw-dropping. I was like, whoa, okay, this is going to be a fantastic read. But after that opening scene, it just went downhill for me. After this fantastic start, it just slowed down so much, and to be honest, I just got completely bored. I need suspenseful thrillers, and I feel like this book was more of like a cozy mystery, in my eyes anyway, and that's just not my vibe. So Rewind is a book about this Instagram celebrity that goes missing after going to this isolated cottage by the seaside. I'm gonna sneeze. Sorry. So we know that she's been murdered because that's the opening scene of someone is watching her, like voyeurism, on this hidden camera inside the cottage, the manager to this like cottage called Andrew, and he's watching her, and this guy comes in, this dark figure, and stabs her repeatedly until she dies. So, you know what's happened. Oh, and then what happens next is the guy who murders her has to... The guy that murders her knows about this hidden camera. So who is he? How does he know about it? And he goes up to this hidden camera and destroys it. So there are multi-layers to this story, and the husband's looking for her and doesn't know what's happened, blah blah blah. And it had a really good concept, like rewind it with the filming of it, with this hidden camera and stuff, rewind, fast forward, pause, start. It had potential, but I just think it was lackluster. I found it honestly dull and depressing. I think the writing was all right, but nothing to really, write home about. So, yeah. Then I buddy read TheFive by Hallie Rubenhold with Aoife from Words of Clover. She's on BookTube. I'll leave her channel in the description box down below. And Aoife absolutely loved this book. I think she gave it a 5-star review. However, for me, I don't know that much about the Jack the Ripper murders and the serial killer himself. It's something that I have always been fascinated by, and I would like to learn more about it. But I felt like maybe if I was to read the book TheFive, which is a non-fiction story of the lives of all the women, or the 5 women killed by Jack the Ripper, because naively, me too, I always just kind of thought that who he killed was all prostitutes, when they weren't at all. And this book is trying to show people that, and it really dives deep into what their lives were like in Victorian England. It was just so weighted with research, and you can tell how much research went into it. She did fantastically. I don't think the book could have been put into better hands. However, I was a bit bored with it. I wanted more of a glimpse into the murders and Jack the Ripper himself. This book is just about life in the Victorian times, and what the women went through and endured, and how they were treated back then, how women in general were treated. So for me, this book, I gave it 3 stars because it just wasn't really my type of read. But it was, you can't take it away from the author how much research she put into it, and the writing was good. Overall, a very solid book, just not one for me. And then Then I started reading Diana Madden's 3rd book in the series, the last book, called If You Dare. And I'm almost finished with it now. This one, she is sent to jail because she finally gets caught after doing something rather disastrous. And I'm enjoying it not quite as much as the first 2, to be honest, but it's still fun, and I can imagine, if I'm predicting, I would give it about 4 stars. So the first 2 were full 5-star books for me. However, the 3rd, I think, my brain's not really in it right now, but I'll get there eventually. I just need November to be over and to stop freaking writing this book, because I'm tired. I'm exhausted. Writing an entire novel in 1 month, 30 days, 50,000 words. It's grueling. It really tests your mental stability. And yeah, I have been struggling a little bit with some personal stuff, so yeah. Also, I don't think I've ever seen that tree outside my window before. Suddenly I have a tree, and I don't know why. That's weird. I've lived here for a good couple of months now, and I've never seen this tree. Can you see it? That one. Where'd that come from? I'm confused. Anyway, let me know how you're doing, and if you've been taking part in NaNoWriMo, let me know how that's going for you. If you read anything great, let me know. I hope you're all well, and I will talk to you very soon.